I didn't change my title. Gotta change that stream title. Because otherwise, I'd be lying to you. And I wouldn't want to do that. Wouldn't want to do that one bit. Oh god, that's loud. But what am I doing? It's changing the stream title. Let's do it! Hello, hello, hello. I am Quirked, and I am going to be doing a show. Normally I do stuff for Chess League TV over the Light Chess 45 League, but today I'm actually going to be showing a few of my most exciting over-the-board games, because they're fun, and I know them pretty well, and I can do them pretty easily, and I didn't have an opening show prepared, so you're stuck with me doing this show. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. And that's about it. I'm going to wait 3 or 4 more minutes because I just posted. So hopefully we get a few more in here. If you're already here, you're awesome. Welcome. Who's awesome? Yago's awesome. Yago, man, you never miss the stream. You're insane. Did I spell light chess wrong? Fine, Seb. I'll post to general. You're insane, Yago. Yago, I think I covered your game. What was it? What was your game last week? Oh yeah, it was that like weird. It was that weird Maroxy we were talking about. Sort of that unconventional Maroxy. That was really interesting. I think I actually learned something from that game. Because I agree. I think I underestimated your position in that game. Yeah, it's my bottle of naked juice that I keep by my desk. Great stuff. Anyway, I'm going to get started with the first game. Because why not? This is going to be a short stream, just for some fun. I didn't have any openings prepared. I didn't have any endings prepared. So I thought I could do this. It's simple. It's fun. It's fun. Oh god, it's fun. It's fast. It's Dominion. That was the thing. League of Legends joke. So my first game was from I recently played in a tournament, the New York International. I played the New York International, and the New York International was a 7-round Swiss, and I was playing in the under 2200 section. There was like an under 2200 and then an open, and my rating's under 2200, so I signed up for that section. And so I played 7 games, and I scored 5.5 out of 7, which was a tie for first. But here, we're going to look at my only loss of the tournament. And I had white in this game against Davis Zong. And if you don't know Davis Zong, you probably will at some point. Davis Zong is 8 years old, and he's rated 2050. This kid is insane. I hate playing against him. He's so good. It's unbelievable. So whenever, like, I've been paired against him twice. Every time I'm just like, oh, I have to play Davis. It's killer. I hate playing Davis, and you'll see why here. I actually get a really good position, but he's just really good. He's a super solid player, very dominant. So I always play d4 because that's what I play. I like playing it. I don't know what to tell you. and Davis plays d5. Oh my god, there's some like elephants in the apartment above me or something. Davis plays d5 because that's what he likes to play. He's a kid, he plays solid, that makes sense. And I play c4, and we got a Slav. Here, the most normal move is knight f3. I like to play this mover with knight c3, knight f6, and e3. And what this line does is, if you play knight f3 here, your opponent can play this dc4 line, and there's a whole bunch of theory around this, but I don't like playing these positions. So here I just play e3, which prevents this d takes d4 line because you can just capture back with the bishop. So that's my move order. But what this does allow is, normally black can't really develop the bishop early because, say in this position, if you develop the bishop, I will go takes, takes, and queen b3, it's a double attack, and your position is very bad. But after e3, you actually can develop the bishop, and if I try the same thing, takes, takes, and queen b3, you have this move, knight c6. And it does sacrifice a pawn, but black gets a really strong initiative. Basically, my next move is going to be rook b8, and then I can think about playing moves like e5, getting my bishop out and castling. So the main line is something like this, and I think, I'm not sure, I feel like black gets to play e5 right away here. And this is all based upon the fact that white doesn't have their knight on f3 yet. If white's knight was on f3 and this pawn was still on e2, that means white would have more mobility for his pieces, and this wouldn't be so good for black. So that's basically a concession I make with this move order of 4e3. Black can play bishop f5 if they know what they're doing. If they don't know what they're doing, then bishop f5 is probably a mistake. So in this line, sometimes if my opponent's like 1500 and they play bishop f5, I'll play this and say, you don't know what you're doing. But if my opponent's like 2000 and they're playing bishop f5, then I'll be like, okay, you probably know this line, and I'll play like bishop d3 or something. But Davis played e6, and now we get a normal semi-Slav. This is a normal semi-Slav position with 5e3. The other thing about this move, 4e3, is it means we're not going to go into any Botvinniks or Moscows. I'm not going to play bishop d5, and we're not going to get those hyper sharp Slav positions that the semi-Slav is really known for. We're going to get a more quiet semi-Slav, most likely a Moran, or as I like to play, the anti-Moran. So after knight bd7, I play queen c2, which is the anti-Moran. Because if you play bishop d3 right away, then black can go takes, takes, and b5. And that's the Moran. It's been analyzed a lot. I don't know it that well because I don't play it. I play queen c2, and this basically says, hey black, I made a useful waiting move. You also need to make a useful waiting move. You can't just take here and give me a free tempo. That would be too good for me. So after queen c2, black's most common response is bishop d6, which is a useful developing move. It makes a lot of sense. The Music Dance says, I've heard the Moran is quite complex. It is! That's why I don't play it. I don't want to play complex things. I just want to be a little bit better all the time. I don't want to be complex. Which is funny because this game got complex very, very quickly. After queen c2, my opponent did not play bishop d6. They played bishop e7, and this move is a little bit passive, but it's fine. It's playable. There's nothing wrong with it. I'd just rather have the bishop on d6, especially when this bishop hasn't come out to pin. So now I play bishop d3, and here black can take if they want and play this position. And here white will castle and put their rook on d1 and play e4. And white will have a little bit of central space advantage, but black will have some space on the queen side. Maybe if black gets c5 under okay conditions, the position is probably equal. And this would be a normal way to continue. But my opponent just castled, which is also playable. I castled. And here my opponent played what I think is a bad move. My opponent played b6. And the issue with b6 is it means that currently I have a battery against h7, and b6 just undefended the c6 pawn. So what that means is after my next move, which makes a whole lot of sense, I play e4. And white always wants to play e4 in these openings. In this sort of structure, you want to achieve your central break, and in this position for white, that's going to be e4. So e4 is the move I want to play, and black actually made my move better by playing b6, because after e4 takes, I take with the knight, and black has a problem here. Black would really want to play knight takes, bishop takes, knight f6. But in this position, c6 would hang. And that sort of shows the problem with b6, is that it takes away black's most natural response to the e4 break. After I take, black wants to take this, but they can't. Just note, after takes, takes, if you try and defend this pawn, h7 is hanging. So the bishop actually has a double attack going on here. So that's the problem with this move b6, and I think I reacted well by breaking in the center. And here, my opponent needs to defend one of these points. I don't like my opponent's move. I don't think it was good. Davis is a very good player. He just didn't play well in the opening here, for whatever reason. Here he played h6, which can't be right, because it's a weakening of the king side, and you can defend the threats while developing a piece. If you can defend against your opponent's threats while developing a new piece, that must be the best move. So the best move here must be bishop b7. He's defending against this threat, and he'll play. Now he can think about playing takes, takes, and knight f6, which will guard the h7 pawn. So this felt much more natural. I didn't like this move h6. It didn't feel like the right idea. Now, here I played slightly inaccurately. I need to develop this piece. It's not doing anything. And there's two squares I need to look at. So this will be the first chat question. Should my bishop go to e3 or f4? Kirish, why not bishop b7? I don't know. It was a much better move. My opponent should have played bishop b7, but they played h6. So just to reiterate the question, should my bishop go to e3 or f4? No thoughts, no ideas. Rook d1 is better. Rook d1 is probably a good move. The reason I didn't want to play rook d1 in this position is I believe in this position my rooks are going to want to end up on d1 e1. So I would actually want to put the queen's rook on d1, was my thinking. Yago, I agree with you that bishop e3 is better. And the reason bishop e3 is better is that you have to think about what black's trying to accomplish here. Black wants to play c5. That's black's main goal in the Slav, is to get this structure with c5. Or not necessarily this structure, sometimes it's this structure. But the goal is always to achieve the c5 break. And bishop e3 puts pressure, and it makes c5 more difficult to achieve. And if black wants to play knight g4, okay, I'll put my bishop on f4, which is still a good square, and now your knight is often like la-la land. So I would be totally okay with that. Rook e1 is probably a fine move. I like getting this bishop out because I do want to land a rook on d1 quickly, but I really want it to be this rook, because I do want this rook to be on e1. That was my thinking. Rook e1 is possibly a very good move. This was just the way I was thinking. So bishop e3 is probably the best move in this position. Maybe not, but it makes the most sense to me, in my opinion. Just preventing black's c5 idea. But for whatever reason, I played the move bishop f4, which I think is slightly inaccurate for the reasons given. So Karish, it's true that the queen often goes to c7, but really, really what I want to do is I kind of want to meet c5 with d5, and when I play d5, I want the rooks here, if possible, because a lot of times this pin is actually very annoying for black. The pin on the e pawn can tend to be very annoying, and if I play rook d1 right away, they can't go c5, but they can make, you know, normal developing moves, or they can just play this, and then they have this threat again, and again I just felt like this rook really wanted to be on e1, because I do like this setup with the d and e rooks. Oftentimes my c file isn't really opening because this c pawn doesn't usually break open at any point. If any point black plays c5, will change these pawns, but this pawn will remain, which means the rook on the c file tends not to be super useful. So this was more long-term planning for me. I want the rooks on the d and e files. So after bishop f4, my opponent played the logical move, which is c5. Because if he can play it, he should. That makes a lot of sense. So my opponent understood what he needs to do here. However, what I noticed here was that I got all my pieces out, and they're all sort of on the king side. So I started getting ideas here of going for adventures on the king side, because the black king looks a little bit undefended. So here, I played an interesting move. It's probably not best. I'm not going to argue it's the best move, but I played an interesting move, and this is really the start of the absolute tactical melee that is this game. Normal moves in this position, you can take this. This is a sensible position. This is a very sensible position for white. White is probably slightly better here. This is easily slightly better for white. Something else I can consider, I can play rook ad1 right away. This is also a sensible position. Most positions will be sensible, but for whatever reason, I wasn't feeling in a sensible move. Bishop takes pawn. Bishop takes h6. Bishop takes h6 currently, right away, is not very good. But I did prepare bishop takes h6. So in this position, I actually played the move queen d2. Not saying this is the best move, but it leads to a very complicated position. It certainly leads to a very complicated position. So here, my opponent said, okay, you let me break in the center. I will take this. And of course, I can take back. I can absolutely take back. And this is a reasonable move. But I didn't really put my queen on d2 to take back the d4 pawn. That wasn't my point, and that wasn't my idea. So now we really start the melee. Here we go. And this was my idea. This is what I played. So let me ask the audience, who wants to take this bishop as black? This is where I'm going to start putting you some very difficult questions. If you have the black pieces, are you taking this bishop or not? I've got two people who want to take the bishop. But first the knight. So, taking the bishop loses. If you take here, I have a nasty refutation of this. I have a really, really nasty refutation of this. So I can go takes, and if you go knight takes, now I'll take here. And you have some problems, because I am going to get my knight in, and some really bad things are going to happen to you. So this is going to be a disaster. As someone else pointed out, you also cannot attempt, in this position, you cannot attempt to take this knight first, because when I recapture, I actually hit this with tempo. And now you're really, really boned. Like, this is super bad for you. Because if the rook moves, okay, I can probably just drop back, hit the rook again. Some really bad things. It's been a while since I've looked at this game. Let me try and figure it out. So, first off, you have to defend. And I believe an almost only move here is the move. What was I doing here? What was I trying for black? Say you play the move bishop b7. That seems logical. We're trying to get our pieces out and make something happen here. I'll go knight g5. And unfortunately, I actually have a threat. I have a threat to go check, and then discover check and win this bishop. So you're obliged to play a move like rook c8, or sorry, rook b8. And let me see if I can remember my winning variation. I had a winning variation here. It was something like this. Check, you can't take it because you're getting mated. Discover check. And here, what was I doing? I don't remember my variation here. I had a winning variation. I remember I did. I promise you. Sure, I can take here, but that hardly seems convincing. Let me turn on the engine. I remember this was winning, but I don't remember why. It's been so long. Rook b8. Oh, yeah, that's right. I had a rook lift going. You can give these checks. But the winning idea is actually to lift a rook with this. And you can't really stop me from either like just lifting the rook to say here, and then I can like take and check, and it's going to be a disaster. If we follow the line, check, drop back. Why is it repeating? That's bizarre. Go here. Wants to go here. I don't know what's going on. The engine says +7. Yeah, basically, this is it's definitely not a drawn position. The black's development is abysmal. I can probably grab something here. Bishop b7 equals resignation. Bishop b7 must be played, though. In this position, you want to play knight g4? I'm not sure if that's this position. Yeah, I mean, this is just a winning sacrifice. I got all my pieces in. You didn't get your pieces in, so that should be winning. So That was this line. It's complex. Not this position, knight g4. Oh, no, I think I know what you're talking about. Knight g4 instead of bishop b7. I think that didn't work. Let me take a look. You're talking about after queen takes h6, going knight g4. That's maiden one. Yeah, if you go knight g4 to attack the queen, you get mated. So you can't do that. Yeah, you just can't though. You get mated. Anytime you move the knight, you get mated on h7. So yeah, that's why that doesn't work. Anyway, so my opponent played correctly here, and after I took on h6, he played bishop b7, which is an only move in this position. This is an only move. He spent like 20 minutes, figured it out, played bishop b7. Only move. Like I said, this kid's brutal. He's super good. And here I think I played the only move to press for advantage. So let me ask you guys again, what would you play? What would you play in this position? What's the only move for white to press for advantage? Queen g5, 6? Queen g6? Seems good. So queen g5 is actually not so great. But you have to see what black is up to. After queen g5, what does black play? Black has a nice resource in this position, and it's the reason I didn't play queen g5. G6 is not best try here. Black has knight e8. Very good, Yago. Black has knight e8. And unfortunately, this is also a discovered attack on the queen. So you have to play queen g3 or something. But now black has all of a sudden held this all together. He still has his pawn in the center. And his position makes sense. His position makes a lot of sense. So now I can play a move like knight f6, knight d to f6. And black actually has everything under control and is up a pawn. So after queen g5, this is not quite working. To answer your question, Karish, the reason black has to spend 2 moves on the queen side is else he's losing the rook in the corner. This is really his problem. Because one of my threats after this is to go knight g5 and then a discovered check picking off the rook. And once you play bishop b7, my threat is a discovered check picking off the bishop. And if I get my piece back, I'm just winning. So that's why black has to make moves on the queen side. It's unfortunate, but it's a threat that is carried in this position because of the sacrifice. I always threaten these discovered checks, which threaten to pick off pieces on the queen side. So after bishop b7, the only move to press for advantage as white is bishop takes g7. Taking a can opener to the king. You must open him up. You gave a piece. So let me ask, in this position, there is an only move for black. What must black play? This game is super sharp. If black goes wrong here, he's losing. An only move. Knight takes e4, why? Why must I play that? Knight e8, why must I play that? Well, if you play knight e8, then I got 2 pawns for free. And I'll play bishop takes d4, and then I win. So, knight takes e4 is the only move. That's correct. Yeah, but if you let me take 3 pawns for free, you're gonna lose. So, knight takes e4 is an only move. But you have to see why. You had to see this continuation. Because my moves were pretty obvious. My move is queen h6. And now you have to see the point of knight takes e4. What does black play to not get mated? No, this holds equality for black. This holds equality for black. This move, knight takes e4. Bishop f6 gets mated. f6, I think, is slightly unconvincing. Let me look at f6. f6 after f6, I'm a little worried. I might have this move. Or maybe the other rook is more accurate. I might have that move after f6. So it's the same idea, but we do want to support our knight. So after queen h6, black played f5. And we see the point. Black must play knight takes e4 in order to prepare an escape route for the king. And perhaps somewhat surprisingly, the position is around equal. Around equal. It's very, very complex, but it is around equal. What is this guy's light chess rating? I don't know what my light chess rating is right now. I play mostly over the board. This is an over the board game, and my USCF is around 2050. And I was playing someone rated around 2050 as well, who was 8 years old. Never forget, my opponent was 8 years old. I can't get over this kid. He's going to be a master soon. He's so good. It's unbelievable. So, here, I feel like I ran out of steam a little bit here. I think my light chess rating is lower than my USCF. I think that's true, actually, which is funny. Here, I've run out of steam a little bit. And I realized that my bishop was now going to have a hard time getting into the attack. So here, I played a natural move, but it might not be the best move. I played bishop takes e4. Because my bishop has been shut out. This is a powerful piece, and I was also worried about this move, bishop g5. Because the knight does support it on g5, which makes it a reasonable move for black. So I was looking at this move. Bishop g5, and I did want to prevent it, so I played bishop e4. Okay, bishop takes e4, and now it's time to resort to sort of go back into calm play, because I can't mate black with just 2 pieces. So I gotta get something else going here. So I just take back my pawn. And let's take stock here. Black has an extra bishop. However, I have 2 pawns, and black's king is very, very unsafe. Also, I can pretty much win the exchange whenever I would like. There's mate. Queen h8 is not mate. That was the point of f5. The point of f5 was to give the king an escape hatch. If I go queen h8, he can walk away and scuttle away. And going queen h8 too early is a mistake because all of a sudden there's a rook attack on the queen, and I'm forced to trade for this exchange. But that's the other thing. I can pick up an exchange whenever I want. This is not mate in 3. Not even close. You go knight g5, I'll take it. What's your point? Queen h5? Okay, so you want to go queen h8 first. Okay, sure. Knight g5, I'll take it. Queen h5, I'll take it. How's this mate? Even if I didn't have that, I could walk over to e7 or something. So no, I'm not mating here, which means I need more fuel. So I play knight takes d4. Now black played a very natural move, which is knight c5. So discovering an attack, bringing this knight to a nice square, putting more support for his pieces. But this allows me to throw some more fuel on the fire. So let me ask, what would you play for white here? What would you play as white? Rook a d1, queen g6. So rook a d1 was the move I played. Let's look at queen g6. It's an interesting idea. I believe I looked at this during the game because it is natural to want to checkmate him. It does set up this threat of mate in 1. However, by playing queen g6, you've actually given up the mate threat on h8. So I can think about playing a move like rook f7. However, that's probably getting mated right now. So let's not play rook f7. I can play this move and be annoying. I can play f4. Just hitting the queen. And your best move might be to go queen h6 back. But then all of a sudden, my pieces all come into the defense. And I've actually gotten my pieces back into the defense. And I don't want to give black time to really consolidate. The other move that is interesting in this position is b4. It's definitely interesting. And the idea is you want to sort of kick this knight out to take on e6. I wonder what I had planned in this position for the black player. Because I did not play this immediately. And I remember not liking this. And I have to think why. It might have something to do with this bishop g5 move. But bishop g5 is always answered the same way. This is certainly interesting. I do remember not liking this. I'm trying to figure this position out. It's still very sharp, very complex. I don't really want to move my knight. But okay. Say I play this move, knight d3. And you're going to take on e6, probably with the knight. And I'll play queen d6. Or, ooh, I just had an idea here. I wonder after b4 if I can play bishop f6. I wonder. This is maybe playable. Perhaps playable. And my point is I actually have a double threat, which means you might be obliged to take that piece. Yeah, I think this works. Yeah, the text is delayed. I'm going to look into that. I don't know how to fix it right away, but it is running a significant delay, and I wish it wasn't. Yes, it is. We're far behind, unfortunately. Maybe we should just turn it off for now. Let's just turn off the chat on the Twitch, and you guys can look at the actual chat and see what's going on. So I think the refutation to b4 is this move bishop f6. Because my point is, after takes, queen check, king f7, your piece is hanging, but, I'm sorry, my piece is hanging, but your piece is also hanging. So I think I'm actually going to maintain my material here, and I might be winning. It's possible that I'm winning. So that's an interesting and natural move, but I think this move bishop f6, not bishop d5, bishop f6 is a very, very good resource here. So I played rook a d1, just putting some pressure. I am threatening to play knight e6 now. So black went in for bishop g5, but this does not really work. It's not really acceptable for him after queen h8. Because king f7 takes, and here I play queen h5 check. And if black would like to hold on to his bishop, he must play king f6. So I'm drawing the black king forward. And now, I did not find this move, and I think it's a difficult move to find. But Stockfish finds a winning continuation for black here, or for white here, excuse me. So let's take 2 minutes, try and find a winning continuation for white. It's not at all obvious to me. It was not obvious to me. Not one bit. Again, my jug of naked juice. Very fun. I need a haircut. My long hair is beautiful and splendid. Don't be a hater. So Blunderman, f4 is what I played. And it looks like a good move. But Photon Man has given a winning continuation. And it's a nasty little shot that I missed. It's a very, very good continuation. Just to put it on the board, the win here is b4. The knight moves, say, to d3. You go, queen takes g5, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat! And this will be winning. Of course, the point is you take this pawn. The king goes wherever it pleases. You take the queen. And what do we play here? Because this is not such an obvious win. But there's another move here. What's our last move? How do we win some more material? F3. Yeah. F3. Kick the defender. Who asked that? Blunderman asks, why does it work without b4? The reason it does not work without b4 is because currently the knight is protecting the forking square. We want to play this move, knight takes e6, but it's actually protected. So our first move, b4, is played to drive the knight away from the forking square. So that would have been a nice win. That would have been a very nice win. But I did not find that, and I don't blame myself for not finding that. That's a tough one. So instead I played a natural move, f4. And after bishop h6, I still have some advantage, because black's king is still ridiculous. But my next move is probably bad. It's very, very interesting. I played a very, very interesting move, but it's probably bad. And the move I played was g4. The point of this move is that if you take, this check is going to be disastrous. You're going to get blown off the board if you take this pawn. But I am also threatening to play g5 check and take a piece. But here's the thing about kids. For some reason, a lot of times, kids don't get scared. They don't get scared. I don't know what it is about it. They're so robotic at some points. They've been raised on computers. They've been raised on computers, and they don't get scared. They just play the best move. So, my opponent here, he's in an unpleasant position. I'm putting a lot of pressure. He's only 8 years old, and he comes up with the best move in like 3 minutes. And after he played it, I was like, oh man, that's a good move. So what did my opponent play? That's a very, very good move here. Queen g8 is interesting. However, might be losing. Queen g8 check. And I'll play queen takes h6. So I think you're obliged to play king g7 here to hold your bishop. But this, no, I still play this. Yeah, this doesn't work. Queen g8, queen g7, they both don't work. You're losing a piece. Bishop takes f4. Now, bishop takes f4. I'll take it. You gave me a piece, I'll take it. I like pieces. E5. E5 is interesting. But I struggle to believe you. After e5, I think I go rook e4. And I'm going to come crashing down on f5 soon. So I think this would actually be bad for black. It's a cool idea, actually. I missed your forking idea. But yeah, you are really sensitive here, and the black king is unsafe. You're playing with fire, basically. And I think this will, after rook e4, I don't like black's chances to survive. White is not winning whatsoever. And that's what's so scary about these kids. They don't get scared. They don't get bothered. My opponent played the best move. And the best move here is king e7. King e7. He calmly steps out of the check. And here I was like, I don't have much. I don't have much that I can do here. And the other issue is I've opened up my king. And now my king safety is perhaps almost as bad as the black's king safety, which is why the move g4 is probably a mistake. I missed this move, king e7. It's a really simple and elegant move. Very, very simple, elegant move. And I don't have much. I don't have much here. So I tried to keep going with my attack, which was b4. And after knight d3, I had an idea here. And my idea was queen g6. But again, these kids, they're so accurate. It's ridiculous how accurate they are. So my opponent played another very good move. So Music Dan, to clarify, after king e7, it is not better for black. This position is equal. But after b4, knight d3, queen g6, this is better for black. I have made a mistake here. And black can find a strong move here. Black can find a very strong move here. Davis played very well here. In fact, black is winning. So, first of all, let's analyze white's threats. White is threatening on e6 and on h6. So, the first move I saw was queen h8. You haven't addressed my threat. And this would be bad. This would be probably winning for white, if I had to take a guess. So queen h8 is not going to work. The next move I saw, knight f4. Knight f4 is interesting, protecting this square. Knight f4, I have a choice. No, I don't. On knight f4, I will take it, I think. I have a feeling this is good for white because, unfortunately for you, you have to step on the d file. And that's not going to be pleasant. I have a feeling this is winning. I can't prove it, but I have a feeling it's winning. Something like knight b5 check, maybe. Oh, knight b5 check is mating, actually. Because I've covered all the squares. Knight b5 is very accurate. Takes, takes, and I'm winning. So knight f4 is not working. The correct move is, as I saw in chat, queen g8. And when this came over the board, I was very sad. I was very, very sad. It's a very powerful move. And his point is, I don't really care if you take my bishop. What's going to happen if I take his bishop? I'll give you a hint. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fun for me. Use engine? No. We don't analyze with engines. We analyze with our minds. Mate in one is never fun. That's correct. Unfortunately, my king safety has come into play. This is checkmate. So after queen g8, I am basically lost. because I can't take this, I can't take this, I can't really do anything at all. What is my rating? My rating is 2050 USCF. So here, I took this, and unfortunately for me, and this position, I can't even play G5. I wish I could play G5, but I can't. What happens on G5? Yeah, he takes it and mates me again. Life is rough. That's mate. My king is so open. So after this, I can't play G5. That means I'm losing. I'll breeze through the rest of the game. I tried to keep it closed with H3 and then H4, but this is just disaster. E5. It's a nice move. The point is, if I take, then this check is gonna pick up the knight. So I can't take that. Knight e2 takes, knight c3 attacking the bishop, bishop drops back, check, king moves. I try and abuse the pin, but it doesn't even matter. And here I resigned. These pawns are too strong. This bishop can come in at some point and cause some havoc. I just have nothing here. I'm totally lost. I have a rook for 2 pieces, but my rooks are so passive. He has 2 pawns, so this is game over. But I thought it was a very entertaining game and a very interesting game, and it shows how when you're attacking, you have to be really precise. Because I was precise for really most of the game, and then I missed one tactic, and then I made a mistake. I made sort of 2 mistakes in a row. So it only took 3 moves for me to go from having a really pleasant position, which was possibly winning, to having a totally lost position. So when you're attacking, we sort of think that when you're attacking, it's on the defender to find precise moves. But the attacker has to find precise moves too, because if you don't, then your attack fizzles out and you probably have made positional concessions and then you lose. So it's all about finding precise moves from both sides. Attackers have to find precise moves, defenders have to find precise moves. So this was a really, really interesting game, super sharp, super fun. I'm glad I played it. If I had to play it again, I probably wouldn't go for such crazy lines against a junior because kids are really known for their tactical abilities. So I probably would choose to play something a little more quiet against a kid. Yeah, that was my lesson. Don't play crazy shit against kids. All right, let's look at our next game. Here I had white again, and here I was playing against a women FIDE master, and she was quite strong. She was rated, I believe, around 2250 or even 2300. I don't exactly remember, but she was a strong player, and we got an interesting game, and I think there's a good lesson to take away. So I played d4 because I always play d4, and here I got a Queen's Gambit accepted, and I've never gotten a Queen's Gambit accepted before. This is the first time I've ever had this over the board. So I didn't actually know these positions very well. I think she was more familiar with these positions. So I was actually okay with the result of the opening because the position I got wasn't awful. This is an interesting move, bishop g4. Normally, people here like to play c5. That's the move that I know the most about. You can play c5 here, and that makes a lot of sense. So I've seen this before. Bishop g4 I've never even heard of. So this was an interesting idea that I wasn't familiar with. Yeah, I wasn't really sure about the idea. So I was sort of on my own here. I didn't have my theory to help me, but okay, I'll take the pawn. That can't be wrong. I am threatening to play bishop f7 currently, so she has to play e6. Here, I just included the move h3. It felt like it would be useful. I didn't see why I wouldn't. And then I castled and developed my pieces. And here, based on the position of her pieces, she is planning to play e5. That was very clear to me. Was her plan was to play e5. So around this time, I needed to start coming up with a plan because I was a little bit unsure. So I did establish a plan. But perhaps my plan was a little bit unwieldy. So I'd like to ask the audience, what would be your plan in this position? What would you play here? I think he means e4, if I had to guess. I do have my d4 pawn. Just gonna fix my hair. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's all coming out. Yeah. Yeah. So currently, e4 is on. E4 is on the menu, but it doesn't work right away. And let's just so that if I play e4, this is very annoying. I'd have to play gf3, and this position is probably not good for me. I don't have control over f4. In fact, black can consider playing. Black would probably play e5 first. Something in my throat. Play e5 and then put his knight on f4, and I don't think this is very good for white because white has lost control of the f4 square, which is the key square in this. So I don't think e4 right away is correct. I saw another plan to expand on the queen side. That's interesting, and probably not a bad idea. If you go, say, a3, the problem is, currently, this bishop is very, very sad. So at some point, I do really need to achieve e4 if I want to make anything of this piece. So I'm not a huge fan of this plan of expanding on the queen side, because even if I get in the moves a3 and b4, this bishop isn't a whole lot better on b2. It's still just staring at a pawn. Although you could argue that the bishop on b2 does prevent black's break of e5, so that's interesting. It's an idea. G4 is also interesting. And g4 was actually part of the plan that I came up with. However, I think that the plan that I came up with was not the most accurate plan in the world. I think the best move in this position, it's a little bit counterintuitive, but the main problem that white has is this pin, and the point of you can't play e4 without being met by bishop f3. So I think the best move here is just bishop e2. That's my opinion. Just break this pin. That's the main problem with this position, is the pin. That's my main issue. But I couldn't bring myself to make this move over the board. I thought about it. I really did. But I really just didn't want to... I didn't want to move the same piece twice in the opening. I didn't want to retreat my piece. So it's all these like chess axioms that are coming into play. But you have to understand when to break the axiom. Because here, the only problem in my position is the pin. So if I break the pin, I have a very pleasant position. So I think bishop e2 is the best move, in my opinion. In my opinion, bishop e2 is the best move. But I played another move. I played queen e2, which looks a little weird, because I'm not really breaking... I'm basically saying I'm never going to break the pin. But combined with my next move, it makes a little bit more sense. After castles, I played g4, and this was my idea. My idea is drive the bishop out, play some combination of like rook in, e4, that sort of stuff. And after bishop g6, here I play inaccurately, sadly. Here I played the move rook d1, which is not accurate whatsoever. So how can black take advantage of my move rook d1? Just to go back, in this position, the correct move is definitely e4. But I played rook d1. How can black take advantage of this? Knight to b4. What's the knight doing on b4? You're not even attacking anything. Where's it going? So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this move because it seems like I just moved the same piece twice, and I'm not even really creating a threat. Maybe I'm threatening to go here, but now I'll play e4. And I don't see what you've accomplished here. So I don't like this move knight b4. I feel like it doesn't do much. Yeah, the issue with rook d1 is that now I'm never going to play e4, or if I am, it's going to take me a while. So after rook d1, my opponent had this opportunity to play knight e4. Also, I just want to go back. I sort of glossed over something. There's another move in this position that's quite good, and that's knight h4, winning the light square bishop. This is also a good move. Because, interestingly enough, this knight on f3 is not really a good piece. It ends up being a problem piece for me. So trading this off for the light square bishop would be quite nice. So this would also be a good alternative. But after rook d1, my opponent did not play knight e4. I think my opponent was worried about this knight h4 idea, so my opponent played this move h6. But this is inaccurate as well. She needs to take this opportunity to prevent e4. So h6 was not a good move. Yeah, knight h4 was sensible in the previous move, music Dan. Yeah, h6 is not a good move. And the reason is, after I play e4, black wants to play e5. But they can't. Despite the fact that black's been setting up all their pieces to play e5, it just doesn't work here. After takes, there's a pin along the d file. So basically this h6 move was a bit of a lemon, because I think much more sensible is, I play rook d1, I line up with your queen, you should play queen e7. And now when I play e4, you'll play e5. And this makes a lot more sense. But this was not played. After h6, e4, the bishop has to move. There's going to be a fork coming. So bishop b4 was played. And this is a very interesting position. My king is a little airy, but I have a lot of space. And the position is interesting. I have to say, I don't like my next move. Let me poll the audience. What would we play here? I see g5. g5 is interesting. g5 is definitely interesting. Knight e5, bishop f4. So he is carrying a threat here. Yeah, I don't think we've paid a whole lot of attention to what black has done with his last move here. Bishop e4 does carry a threat. Black's not messing around here. She's gonna take and take. So something must be done. g5. I'll take it. And on takes. Okay, maybe I won't take it. Maybe I won't take it. g5. Yeah, here, g5. I'll take this. This might not be good. I'm rethinking my life choices. because I think you actually play this. G5 is very interesting. I'm not sure. I probably have to take it. And on bishop takes. I don't really want to take this. It's confusing. This is a confusing position. I would be confused if I had this position. Maybe I take, and then here, I don't know what's happening. Something's happening. I was trying to take here, but I can't make that work. Confusing. All right, I'll check I'll engine check your G5. Oh, it does want to take this. I thought this didn't work. Ooh. Okay, that's very complicated. Yeah, I didn't want to go for super complicated stuff here. I wanted to keep it vaguely simple. Yeah, black is a little better here, minus 0.4. That doesn't surprise me. It felt like I was overextending, vaguely. So, after bishop b4, that's a lot of arrows, white has threats. Or sorry, black has threats. So, really the only two moves to consider here, I think, are e5 or d5. You have to play one of them. You really have to play one of these moves. And I think I played the wrong one. I played e5. But this sort of shuts down my structure. It leaves me with this weak pawn here. So I think much more dynamic is d5. And this leads to some complicated positions, but they all look okay for white. You're forced to take this, and after knight takes, I am threatening discoveries here. So I'm also threatening to take this piece. So you kind of have to take this again. And here, the position looks about equal, I would say. White has some nice centralized pieces, but this knight, it doesn't really have a future. It has a hard time going anywhere. So I think, I don't know, I felt like this position was around equal. I probably should have looked at this more, though. I don't think I gave d5 a good shake. It's an interesting position. It's an interesting position. But it's not what I played. Back here I played e5. But here, again, I don't like this fixed structure. I think black might already be a little bit better. After knight d5, I took, takes, and here, unfortunately, this piece has become quite strong. Black has got his light square bishop to a nice diagonal. I wish I had hunted it down earlier with this knight h4, but I didn't. So I did feel it necessary to trade this piece off. Because it is quite a strong piece. It could land here on e4. That would be really annoying. So I did feel like I had to trade it off. And here, black played an interesting move. Black played f6. And her idea is she wants to open the f file and pressure this knight and the f2 pawn. I'm a little bit behind in development over here because I just traded off a lot of my active pieces. Maybe I shouldn't have. So here I found an interesting move. And it might be the best move. Why knight takes d5? It's sort of like, well, first off, there's a threat against the knight, or there's a threat against this pawn. So that needs to be answered in some way, shape, or form. If you go, for example, bishop d2, I'm worried. This feels so shaky. I feel like there's a lot of pressure against this pawn, and I'm just trying to find a way to put together enough pressure to make that work. I could even consider a move like knight b6, attacking this piece, and putting more pressure here. In fact, does that win this pawn? This might win this pawn. I think I'm losing a pawn here. My point is after bishop d3, I can take. This is not so clear. Takes, and maybe this will come next. Unclear. Basically, everything I'm ever going to talk about will always be unclear. Yeah, the backwards d pawn. That's why I don't like my move e5 earlier. The d pawn really becomes a weakness here. So after all the trades, black played f6. I found a very, very interesting move here, which I think is objectively the best move because it prevents black from running away with the game. Chess is very complicated. I agree, Blenderman. Chess is hard. So in this position, let's take a minute, and I want you to find out an interesting move. It might not be good, but at least holds the balance. Holds the balance. That's what I was trying to do here. I didn't like my position, so I was trying to hold the balance. Whoops, wrong window. Queen g6, I saw a couple of those. Queen g6 is certainly interesting, and you've introduced a threat. There's a threat. But let me think. What if I say I don't care? Knight e7 is also interesting there, and probably better than my crazy move. I like my crazy stuff. Because here, this gets very complicated very quickly. Takes, but I think I have this. That looks very strong. It's a double attack. Yeah, I think you're losing, actually. I think in this position, white is losing. I don't see a way to hold on to all your pieces. No, that doesn't work. And we have found it. Two of us have found it. Here I played bishop takes h6. A common theme of our stream, apparently. I played a lot of bishop takes h6 in my exciting games. And my point is, well, if you take the bishop, it's a draw. This is a draw. And I was happy with a draw at this point because I wasn't thrilled with my position, and I was playing someone who outrated me by like 300 points. So here, taking a forced draw, I was fine with that. You outrate me by 300 points. Let's make a draw. Let's make a draw. And here's where objectivity in chess comes into play. And I think this is a really important subject. My opponent is 2300. When I played her, I was rated like 2000. She doesn't want to draw with me. She is not happy with a draw. She wants to win. But unfortunately, we have to play the position in front of us. So, in this position, there is nothing better for black. And if black attempts to avoid this perpetual, they will get a bad position. They will get a terrible, terrible position. So, if she wants to continue the game, she must accept a bad position. And that is what she did. But I can't consider this the correct decision. I cannot say that this is the correct decision. In this position, she played fe5. But this cannot possibly be the correct decision. Cannot possibly. because now her position is very bad. Because I take back here. And all of a sudden I have pressure here. This pawn can start to run. And this is much less clear. Much less clear. I wonder if you can still take this piece and get a draw. It might not be a draw anymore. It's possible that taking that piece is no longer a draw. I didn't think you could take it anymore. Why did I think that? What happens? Let me see. I'm gonna turn the edge on for this because I don't think. Yeah, now it doesn't work. Now you can't take this because this is gonna be bad. Let me see why. Yeah, this knight can come in, and after queen e7. Yeah, it's because this pawn has been exposed. It lets my rooks into the game. So now you can't even take the bishop. Now it doesn't even work. But my opponent had a point. Why take e5 at all? Because she wants to open the f line. That was sort of the point behind the move f6. Why play f6 if you're not going to take on e5, right? The point behind f6 is to take on e5 and open the f line. Another interesting move here is rook f3. This is an interesting idea. And the point is after you take, now I take this. But again, I don't think this is very clear. I actually can grab this immediately. And your king is so open that I have a hard time believing in this for white. I think white would be better here. So, after d5, she played queen e7. And she's guarding here. She's really threatening to take this, for real. So I need to back the bishop up. And it's a little bit unfortunate. My bishop can't really go anywhere. If the bishop goes here, it gets taken. If the bishop goes here, the knight gets taken. So I actually have to run my bishop all the way back to d2. And now queen f7, she's putting pressure down the f line. King g2. And rook a, e8. And now I missed a chance here. I missed a chance. And I think it was this position. I want to say it was this position. So, was it this position? I don't remember. I think in this position, I had a chance to play an annoying move. I think here I have e6. Very annoying. And the point behind this move is I'm looking at these ideas of knight g5 and mating you. But right now, if I play knight g5, then that's going to be annoying. And the really annoying thing is I can actually get back to guard with this queen h4, which also attacks the knight. But here you have this. What was it that I was looking at then? Queen takes. I was scared of something here. What was it? I don't remember. What was I scared of? Does anyone remember? I don't remember. I don't remember why I was scared anymore. I can't solve it. I can't solve the mystery. Because after queen h4 I can take this. And your king's in a lot of trouble. I guess maybe king h8? And this knight's hanging? The knight's not hanging. Well, it will be hanging soon. Unclear. What's going on here? It's equal. Who'd have guessed? So I think you have to play e6 first. And the point is, well, if queen takes, now I will take this. Or now I will go here. And now I do have really strong pressure here, and there's not a lot you can do about that. If you try queen h6, I have this check. Very annoying. King h8, I go here. That's a problem. So that's very annoying. Oh, also, that's a discovery on your queen. That's annoying too. So after e6, I think you have to go rook takes e6. But now you have bigger problems here. Because after check, king h1. Now, when I take here, I'm going to grab this guy, or I can take there right away probably. So that's why e6 was a nasty little shot. Just dragging this pawn into the opponent's side. Yeah, that's why this line is much better, because you either have to relieve the pressure on f2 by taking with the queen, or you take with the rook and then this knight is going to come clean up that rook. So e6 is a little shot. I don't blame myself for missing that. But the problem here for me is, if I don't find e6, it's a little bit hard for me to develop. It's hard for me to get my pieces out in a way that makes sense. And there's a threat here, actually. I think black might be threatening to take this. It's unclear, but oh, it's not in this position. But black does have ideas of just taking this. But there is this threat as well. So I have to do something here. So I took this piece. I didn't want to do this. I really didn't. But my bishop was very inactive, and I just had a hard time getting my pieces out. And since I missed the tactical shot, then it was hard for me to come up with a plan. And that's actually a common theme. When you miss tactics, your position can become very difficult. Even if you have a good position, oftentimes that good position is leading up to a tactic. So if you have a really good position and it leads up to a tactic, and then you don't play it, then all of a sudden your position can stop making a lot of sense. So here my position has stopped making a lot of sense. So after knight b4, queen b3, black played a really strong move here. It's very annoying. Black played c5. Ugh. And black's point is she's going to play c4. And I can't take this because queen f3, and that's disaster. So c4 is a big threat here. And if I move the queen, say, to e3, well, there's a fork. So there's a lot of things that are happening, and I'm not happy with a lot of them, because a lot of bad things are happening to my position, because I missed a tactic. But here I had an idea. I played the move rook c1. So, and my point is, after c4, now I can go queen e3, and you don't have this move. It's not a fork, and it's protected. So let me ask, what would you play as black here? What would you play? This is a critical position. What would you play as black? Knight takes a2. Knight d3. I think those are the two main candidates. Those are the two moves to look at here. You can play knight d3 with a really strong central knight, and you can play knight takes a2 and save free pawn. So one of these is much better than the other. My opponent played knight d3, which is a big mistake. It's a very, very big mistake. And the reason is, knight d3 allows me to make sense of my position. And after I saw knight d3 on the board, I didn't even need to calculate. I know I'm playing this. This move jumps out to me. And after sacking the exchange, my position becomes very good. I get a very, very good position after sacking the exchange. So the correct move for black in that previous position is to play knight takes a2. Because even though the knight is strong on d3, it actually allows me to give up the exchange and make sense of my position. Here my rooks aren't doing much. My knight can't move. This queen is a little bit limited. And I'm not a huge fan of my position. I'm not losing or anything. But my position is not amazing. After knight d3, my position really springs to life. Because I start having threats. I start to create very real threats. Again, I have my eye on these knight g5 ideas. That can be really scary. So I have my eye on those. You have to look at your opponent's defensive resources. I'm more than happy to give up a rook to take this knight off. I would love that. And here, my opponent found a nice move. My opponent wants to move their pieces, but she's tied to this pawn, and she's especially tied to this pawn because it comes with check. So she played this move d4. And it's a good move. First of all, I can't take it. My knight's going to hang. If my knight takes, f2 is going to hang. And so my pieces are very limited here in a very annoying way. But I think I found a nice way to convert my advantage. I'm in no rush. Yes, I'm down in exchange. But I have two pawns, and this pawn is quite strong. And I can think about trying to win a third pawn here if I get the chance. So I'm not in a rush. I'm going to slowly build my position here. So I started with the move rook c2. Just slowly building up my position. I'm protecting f2. So maybe I'll think about taking with the knight here. Just to point out, rook c4, I think loses. Can someone tell me why rook c4 loses? I'm pretty sure this loses. Or maybe loses is a strong word, but rook c4 is a bad move. Rook takes e5, very good. Unfortunately, the rook is doing a nice job defending. And specifically, it was defending the back rank. So after rook c4, this is very strong because now the rook has given up defense of the back rank, which means I have this move, queen e1. Very annoying. And when the king comes in, now there's rook f2, and I think I'm getting mated. Very unfortunate. Let's see. Okay, I'm at least losing a queen. So that would lose. If not, if I can't find a mate, I'll at least take the queen. So the rook is doing a good defensive duty. Note that rook c2, you can't do the same thing because my rook is guarding f2, so it doesn't work. That's why I played rook c2. Queen d5. I stepped out of the pin. I want to be able to play knight takes f3. Or not f3, knight takes d4. Rook d8, more support. And now I played rook e2. Just supporting this pawn. Because I want to go knight g5. But if I go knight g5 right away, that's bad. I lose. So I played rook e2, supporting my pawn. So after rook e2, I'm going to give you guys a challenge. Try and stop me from playing knight g5. as black. Stop me from playing knight g5. I dare you. Or, if you can't do that, stop me from mating you. Queen takes f3. Queen takes f3 might be a little bit overboard. If you go queen takes f3, obviously you're giving the exchange back. But in this position, I am up 2 pawns. I will win this rook ending. Or if not, I will cry. Because I'm bad at chess, and I can't win a rook ending 2 pawns up. Rook takes f3 is the same, though. Rook takes f3 gives the exchange back. Here. I mean, you don't have to take, but this position is lost. I'm up 2 pawns. I can win this. I could win that versus Magnus Carlsen, probably. So I think there are some critical variations to analyze. Because it's not so clear-cut. There's a couple of moves you can try. You can try... this move. Now, this is a really good one. This is one I was proud of seeing this. White to play and win. My point is, if you go knight g5, I will go queen h6 and guard this square. Very good, Iago. Queen h7 check. Iago, it wins. It wins. Why are you saying nah? That's a winning move. Boom. Youch. Look at that. And the point is, after takes, not only am I getting the queen back, when I land here, it's a fork. That's rough. That is rough. Hey, No Clue, how you doing, man? So, queen e6 does not work. And here was the one I struggled the most with. Queen c6. This one's a little bit of a tough nut to crack. And I'm not sure if I remembered exactly what I played here. But I think like some combination of knight g5 and e6 just was clobbering. I think maybe e6 to start. Go e6. I have a couple threats. I'm threatening to play e7. I'm threatening to play knight g5. And so I don't think you can really handle all of my threats. For example, if you check, king back, if you go and pin the knight again, then I go e7. And this is terrible. So queen c6, I think e6 is the winning move. Very strong. So the point is here, black actually has no defense. Black is lost. I think maybe the rook takes f3 line was the most annoying line, shall I say. But here, yeah, even here, this must be lost. I go e6. I'll go queen f7 next. Good luck. Yeah, it must be lost. This pawn is so fast. He brought his sneakers. So, yes, you can. After... let me bring up that line, because that's a good point. After queen c6, e6, queen d6, queen c6, e7, yeah, you can play rook takes f3, but again, you're giving the exchange, and you're lost. You're just lost here. I'm up 2 pawns. And, I mean, can you even stop my e-pawn? I don't know. I'm not sure you can. So this would be a losing position. Okay, you can try and hold this position, but I don't think you'll be so successful. Say I go queen. Oh, then my queen's pinned. Okay, that is a little annoying. I don't want to take you here and actually help you protect this pawn. What would I play here? I would probably keep this simple. And my point is takes. I'll go here. And if we trade pawns, this is a winning rook ending. I think. I believe this is a winning rook ending. So yeah, this would lose for black. So that was the game. After rook e2, my opponent really had nothing. She played queen takes a2, but knight g5, and you can't stop me from mating. So the position is won. Or you can stop me from mating, but you have to give up a whole bunch of material to do it. So that would be game over. A good game there. Not incredibly well played from me, but I took advantage of my opponent's mistakes. And that's really important in chess because, especially, like, most people make mistakes. Masters make mistakes all the time. So you have to take advantage of them. Because if you're not, like, not taking advantage of an opponent's mistake is as bad as making a mistake. Some people don't feel that way, but I really strongly feel that way. Is in missing an opportunity that your opponent gives you is as bad as giving your opponent an opportunity. It's just as bad. It's worth a half point either way. It's just as bad a mistake. All right, I have one more game if we're interested, and it looks like we are. So let's take a look at my last game, and this was a fun one. Here I'm playing another master. He's just a national master, but he's a good player. And I know he plays the Benoni. I was white again. For some reason, I'm looking at all these white games of mine. I knew he played the Benoni, so we got a Benoni position here. And here, I play a little bit of a... Am I always white? Yes, I rig my local pairings. No, I only get exciting games as white. All my games as black are boring. I don't know why. It's funny too because I play exciting lines as black, especially against e4. I play like crazy French lines, but no one plays e4 against me, so I never get to show off my crazy French lines. I should do an opening thing on my crazy French lines because I have some weird French lines. They're exciting. They're fun. But this is a normal Benoni, and here I play a slightly like boring system in the Benoni. You can go like f4 and go rar and try and play for an early e5, and that's a thing. But I just play this simple line, and I don't play for a big advantage. But I just put my knight on g3. I make sure e4 is super duper solid. I try and delay b5 as long as possible, and like slowly build up for f4 and e5. Castles, bishop e2, I want a castle. This is a cool key idea in the Benoni. If black plays a6, you just play a4, no questions asked. And here black plays h5, and this is a common idea. This knight isn't super comfortable on g3. A lot of times it's going to get kicked by h5, but we can slow this down by playing bishop g5. And this move has 2 points. First, it's a pin. And secondly, I'm stopping you from playing h4 because I would take it. So this is a strong move. We sort of wait to develop this bishop, and then if black plays h5, then we come out here and it's a pin and it's annoying. And here my opponent played what I think is the first inaccurate move of the game. And I think you have to have sort of a spidey sense for this. Sometimes moves just look and feel wrong. So when black plays this move, queen e8, that just looks and feels wrong to me. And the reason this feels wrong to me is most of the time, black wants to play rook e8. So queen e8 is weird. It makes a lot more sense to play something like queen c7. That seems more sensible to me. leaving this square open for the rook, and you're still breaking the pin. So I felt like this was inaccurate. But he has broken the pin. And the idea behind breaking the pin is that you want to play knight h7 and kick my bishop out. So when black plays knight h7, I want to play bishop h6 and trade off these bishops. Because the fianchetto bishop is always black's good bishop in the Benoni. I mean, look at that diagonal, right? So currently I can't play bishop h6 because that would lose a piece, so I play queen d2. Because I want to trade off the bishops when he goes knight h7. And, okay, knight h7, bishop h6. Normally, black's rook is on e8, so black will play bishop h8. But he can't do that here. So I think black is already significantly worse. Black develops his pieces. That's probably a good idea. I like developing my pieces. Here I looked at some crazy stuff. I went with the simple capture of takes, but I looked at some really crazy stuff. I looked at takes because this is very interesting. It looks like in a lot of lines you're getting close to getting to the black king, because after, for example, g takes h5, you can go takes, and like knight f5, and then your queen comes in, but it doesn't quite work. You can't quite make it work. It's so close, but not enough, not enough. Very sad. I wanted this to work, but it didn't work. So instead, I just went for the calm swap. And now his king is a little weak on g7. These dark squares are quite weak, especially because he played h5. Now he can never play h6. So these squares are all very weak. And I'm going to look to take advantage of that. So I castled. And this might look a little crazy because, you know, black's going to play h4. But this is actually a common rerouting of the knight in this system. You play knight h1, which looks ridiculous. But it's actually a common idea. You play f3, and then knight comes to h3, and it's actually quite well placed there to play on the king side. Yeah, in that position I was showing with the crazy queen attack. You can play rook g8, or you can play, I think, actually a better move. You can play queen e5. And this is fine. Because my point is, if you play f4, I have queen f6. And now you have no attack. Or, yeah, and now you just have no attack. So, white would be losing here. So after takes, castles, h4. My knight goes to h1. It's going to come out on h3. Rook b8. Black wants to play b5. But they can't yet. So I play f3. Knight e5, that's sensible. The knight usually comes to this square. And here, black is really thinking about playing b5. Black has 1, 2, 3 defenders. I have 1, 2, 3 attackers. So b5 is actually very real here. So that's why I chose to lock up the queen side with a5. Because I don't want black getting counterplay on the queen side here. I'm not really ready to start anything on the king side. I need more moves. So if black gets his play rolling on the queen side, that would come a little bit quicker than my play, I felt. So I decided to take a move and just lock this down. And if black plays b5, I'll take like this. And this is okay for me because this pawn is very weak. It's not hanging currently, but it can become a target. So with black's play stopped on the queen side, black needs to find a new plan, which he does quite admirably. He plays f5, which I think is correct. And black's going to open up the king side, while my pieces are still not optimally coordinated. This bishop's not a great piece. This knight on h1 is really not where it wants to be. This knight is doing a good job. It's a good defender, but again, it's not like a great piece. So my pieces aren't on amazing squares right now. So I did not want to take this, because taking just develops his pieces for him. This pawn becomes weak. That seemed ridiculous. So I decided to start getting my pieces back into the game. I started with knight f2. Now black played knight f6. And here I played a bad move. It was not a good move. I saw what I thought was an opportunity to win a pawn. But if you ever... This is another important idea. Whenever you go adventuring, doing something that's a little like positionally dubious for tactical reasons, you better make sure it works. Because if it doesn't work, then you just did something very positionally dubious. So in this position, I played a bad move. I played queen g5. And my point was, I thought I was either going to win this pawn or this pawn by taking, because I've created a pin here. But my opponent made me realize I was incorrect. And my opponent played this nasty little move, knight f7. And my opponent said, you can have that pawn on h4 if you'd like. It's yours. So, what did my opponent have cooked up for me if I take on h4? Why would this not be a good idea? Rook h8. Wasn't what I was thinking. If you go rook h8, I'll go here, and I will claim that I have a pawn. I will claim that I took a pawn from you. What black can severely punish. Yeah, g5. G5 is bad news, because my queen's not coming out. If I go here, that's a trap. If I go here, it's also a trap. So my queen will make it out. Or my queen will not make it out, excuse me. So unfortunately, after knight f7, I have to accept that I've done something not very intelligent. And I actually went all the way back, because leaving my queen out here is just going to get attacked again. So I just have to accept that I have not played this brilliantly. And I was willing to accept that most of my advantage is gone at this point, because I haven't played very accurately. After bishop d7, I played an interesting move. So there's an idea that I know about in these structures, which can be very, very useful. A lot of times, white actually wants to open the G file. When black starts this carousing with the F pawn, white wants to open up the G file and really get after the black king, because the black king, his pawns have moved a lot. There's a lot of air in front of the black king. So here I play the move king h1. Okay, so after queen h3, that's a good point. Maybe I was slightly inaccurate in my queen trap. After queen h3, f4, I was pointing out that g4 might save the queen. The point being, after takes, there's queen takes. But okay, instead of f4, there's rook h8, which really will trap the queen. There's nothing you can do about this one. f4. So, good point, but the queen is still trapped. I just wasn't accurate. So here I played king h1. I'm trying to open up the g file. But now knight h5. These knights are starting to loom over my king side a little bit. But one thing I noticed is after the knight came to h5, the knights are leaving the center. black first maneuvered this knight away from the center, this knight away from the center. So black is starting to set up operations on the king side, which means I want to strike in the center. And that's more possible because black has left the center. Black is moving his pieces away from the center. So I actually decided to take here. And this is for two reasons. One, what I mentioned about the black knights leaving. But two, also, the bishop has already moved. So I'm not like developing this for free. He's already wasted a move moving the bishop. And after takes, I'm going to trade this off, because the bishop is defending the light squares around the king, and I really want to go and get after him. After queen d7, takes. Now I have knight h3. This is where the knight wants to go. I thought about putting the knight in here, but this seemed a little bit unclear. I didn't want to allow this black knight to come to f4. This piece is very strong here. I can never really play g3 and kick it out, which is annoying. Very annoying. Hello, Diva Karen. How are you doing? And also hello to Martinoles. Welcome. So that's why I play knight h3. I don't want this black knight to land on f4. It's a very strong piece if it ever gets there. Black brings his rooks. I bring my rook. And now, sort of a strange move from black here. I didn't really understand. I guess black felt like his queen was a little bit misplaced. Like the queen isn't really doing much or attacking much here. So black played this move queen d7, which is a little bit strange. Maybe the idea is to either like play b5 or sometimes come into the queen side. But I have to say, I didn't really understand this move, queen d7. It didn't feel like an active move to me. I would be looking for ways to double the rooks or like get this knight into the game. Maybe a move like, I don't know, knight g5 isn't so ridiculous. Trading off this knight so that this knight can get into f4. That seems possible. Actually, I'm sorry. Knight g5 is ridiculous, losing a piece. Don't know what I was thinking. Maybe knight e5. Just trying to get these pieces back into the game. The knight on f7 is not really doing anything. Yeah, knight e5 seems sensible. But, oh, okay, queen d7 played. And I'm going to put my pieces on good squares. So the knight goes to e4. That's a good square. And now my opponent played rook e5. And here, things get a little wacky. This is not a good move. But it's hard to see the punish. It's hard to see why this is incorrect. So, let's ask the audience, how do I punish this? Queen c3, what's your idea? So queen c3 threatens f4. But it's a little bit more devious than that. Queen c3 is correct. What happens on king g8? This was the move I missed in the game. Because I saw queen c3, but I didn't see what I've accomplished after king g8. But there's a really nasty move here. Really, really unpleasant. Knight takes d6. I have queen takes d... just kidding. I don't have queen takes d6. But knight takes d6, I can insert this, I think, and live? And win, perhaps? Because I'm not pinned. Knight f6 is part of the idea, but it would be a fork. Except there's a pesky knight to take. So I saw the correct move here. After queen c3, king g8, knight f4, the move that I missed. And the point is, I want to play knight f6, but this knight is defending it. So I can play any move that decoys this knight. I'm allowed to play this move, knight f4. You can't take it, you're going to lose a queen. And after knight f4, your position just totally falls apart. It's a disaster. You need to move something. Like, one of these pieces needs to move. So say you come in and protect. Well, now I just take this. And again, you have a real problem. You can't take with the queen because of the check. So you have to play this. And your king is so open. This is going to be a disaster. Maybe I can play this move again. I can't, actually. Unfortunately, this move runs into this again, and I don't have time to take the queen. But the point stands. After knight h5, gh5. Now maybe I go back to my first plan of opening up the g file, play like rook g1. And I think white is much better here. You think black is okay here? I find that very difficult to believe. My next move is going to be g4. Like, g4 is a huge threat here. If I open the g file, I think I win. Just because your king is so unsafe. I mean, if you take here, g4. I think you're just losing. I don't see what you're doing in this position. Knight g5, losing a queen. That must be delayed. I think you mean before playing knight g5. Knight g5 here. G4. Oh, and your idea was to take on f3. Okay, fair point. So knight g5. I'll take. Probably. I don't know, it's confusing. Knight g5 takes. I want to go f4, but it doesn't work. I don't know, is the rook ending good for me? Probably, right? Rook ending is probably good for me. You have to take with the queen or else you lose this pawn. I feel like the rook ending is probably good for me. Rook here. Go rook here. Looks very good for white. I think this position is good for white. Maybe not winning. Maybe I overestimated the position. Yeah, I agree. Black is worse, but maybe not losing. However, I think black will have to... looks drawish. I disagree with that. I think white will win a pawn here. Probably. But I think there might have been better as well. Let's go back and turn on the engine after gh5, rook g1. The move suggested was knight g5. Oh, I take this? Oh, because I played rook g1. Brilliant. The engine's so smart, guys. I played such a good move. I didn't even know all the good points about it. The point is now you don't have time to take this. I mean, it's giving the engine as the best move, but if you take this now I really can take this because that's protected. Guys, I played a good move and I had no idea why. So that would be the refutation of knight g5. There was better earlier. Surprise. Who knew? But I did not find this queen c3 idea. It's a very good idea. But I saw the pin. I saw that he could step out. And I saw this knight check on f6. But I didn't quite put it all together to find this brilliant knight f4. Really strong move. And I played another good move. But it's not as strong. I played f4. Just trying to harass that rook. Because if I let him double and take control of the file, black is probably better here. So I can't give him time. And now rook f5. And here, there's another very good move I could have played. Probably best in this position is queen f2. And you give this pawn, but when you track down this pawn, black's king side really starts to fall apart. It starts to get very shaky if my queen gets to come in on the king side. Some bad things are going to start to happen. But I played a creative idea. A very creative idea. It's a bad idea, but it was creative. I played knight on e to g5. And this looks a little wonky. Because after knight takes, this is hanging. This is hanging. So, this stream currently, I'm only going to analyze games. Sometimes I do opening analysis and endgame analysis. I also do league coverage. We have a Light Chess 45-45 league, which is an online chess league, and I cover some of the games from that league. That's mainly what I do, and I do some extra streams. I do some fun stuff every now and then, but it's mostly an analysis stream. Yeah, so that was my point. Unfortunately, it doesn't work at all. My idea is bad. And here, black should play the move knight takes f4. And my idea was bad, and I should feel bad. Because after rook takes knight e6, black is winning. Black is winning. Why is black winning here? My plan was bad. It's a cool idea. Queen takes e6. Ouch. Youch. That hurts. My back rank. Oofa. The point being, even pawn takes isn't going to save me. Rook f1. I lose. I lose. So, my original move in this position of knight on e to g5 just doesn't work. Because after takes, black can take here, and my fork is ridiculous. However, this is quite complex, and my opponent agreed with me. My opponent agreed that knight takes was losing after the fork. Like it didn't work for black. So my opponent played this move, king g8, because he didn't see the idea of exploiting my back rank. And I can't blame him. I didn't see it. It's a hard thing to see. It's really hard to see. You sort of stop your calculation at knight e6 check, and you go, oh, okay, I lose my stuff. But that's not correct. That's not correct at all. So king g8 was played, and I put my knight on e6. That's a pretty good piece. And from here, I start to slightly misplay the position. Also note that here, black has another shot that he missed, even after knight e6. Because does anyone know? After knight takes f4, you can play g3. Yes, but then you lost a pawn. Slash maybe more. After knight takes f4, g3. First of all, my king side is crying. Secondly, I'll move it. I don't know. I'll take this. And I want a pawn. So I'm happy. If nothing else, I want a pawn. But maybe I have something more. But I just want to go back to this position. Can anyone find... Black has a shot here. Black has a nasty little shot here. He had a chance to land 2 shots in a row, and he missed them both. So I got a little lucky here. Have a good one, No Clue. Pleasure to have you as always. I see it. Knight G3! And the point is, how are you planning on stopping mate? How are you stopping mate? I don't know how I'm stopping mate. I think I'm getting mated. It's brutal. It's really brutal. The only thing I can think of is rook f3, because if you go knight g5, I actually just take it, and then I mate you. So the only thing that seems sensible is rook f3. Just trying to give my king a square. But here, I don't know, something must be bad. What bad thing can I do? Oh, I can probably pick up the rook somehow. Let me look at this. You have to go up to protect your rook. That doesn't look good. I don't want to be moving up like that. That's against my instincts. But I don't know. This is not so clear. I'm not seeing a clear win here. Rook f3. What do I do? Maybe I take here. Is that too crazy? I'm a crazy man. Or I do the checks first, and then take here. I don't know, I don't feel like I've accomplished much by doing that. Just rook takes, right? Let's see what the engine has to say. Well, black's winning. Check, check, check. Okay, it doesn't even want to protect the rook. Oh! The truth hurts. Check! Yikes! Mamma mia! Yeah, you guys found it before me. I mean, I didn't even find it. I didn't look at the answer. Rook e5. Yikes! It hurts. It hurts. How do I not see that? Because I'm bad at chess, man. What do you want from me? Yeah, and I'm bad at chess, and I didn't see it at all. I don't know what you want from me. Yeah, so crushing. But also not obvious either. Because it's not so clear that that black has his pieces ready for this sacrifice. It feels like it comes out of nowhere. Like here, it's really not obvious that this mating attack is going to appear here. So I don't blame my opponent for missing that either. That was sort of a shock to me when I learned about that after the game. We want to see me get good at chess? Unlikely. It's the best I could say. Yeah, that's the problem, right? you have to see the whole continuation. But even here, it's like, it's not apparent to me that there's an attack coming. Like, I don't think I would even look at knight g3 as a candidate here. I might be like, oh, it's a check, but, you know, what does it do? Not much. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad. But that was totally off my radar. Also, I attacked his rook, which probably got his focus. Played rook 8 f7. And now here, I start to misplay this position. Because after rook f3, knight f6, black's putting a lot of pressure on this pawn, and it's not pleasant. Also, rook f3 is not forced. Here I can think about doing some crazy stuff. I can think about playing like g4 maybe. But that seems a little bit bold. With the point of like takes and trying to go after this pawn. Something like here. But this is very unclear. So I can do that, but unclear. So rook f3, knight f6, rook d3. Again, I can look at this move g4, because now I'm not even sacking a pawn. Something like this. Just trying to get at g6. It might have been better trying to get at g6. I don't think I really appreciated how much pressure was going to be put on my position and on the knight. ICCF? No, USCF. Yeah, USCF is the American Chess Federation. So it's sort of like FIDE for the USA. So yeah, I don't think I really respected the amount of pressure that my opponent could put on this pawn and on the knight here. I thought the knight was very solid, but it actually becomes clear that the knight is not so solid. Because after rook e7, black is actually threatening to take this, followed by taking the knight. Very annoying. Very unpleasant. And the problem is, if I move the knight away, then I'm actually going to hang this pawn after takes, takes, takes. So here I had to come up with some creativity, because it's not clear how I'm going to hold all my stuff. It's not clear exactly what's going to keep my position together. But I found a creative try. It's not okay for me. I'm still going to be worse if my opponent plays well, but it's something. I tried this move rook d1. And my point was here, if you take like this, I'm going to play this crazy move, knight takes c5. And just try and bully you on this pin. And it's actually sort of cool, because this is not takeable right away, because of my back rank. But this is what I calculated. I was actually proud of this calculation. It's a good calculation. My point is, after d takes c5, I play a very calm move. I play h3. And this rook can actually has no way to defend the knight. So I'm actually okay here. This will be an equal position, 5 pawns to 5. So this was a cool idea that I found, because I have time for this quiet move of h3. I like this calculation quite a bit. But my opponent surprised me. After rook d1, they played rook takes d5. And now knight takes c5 is now ridiculous, because knight takes c5 will be met by, or sorry, not by rook takes d3. Knight takes c5 will be met by this. And now, again, I can't take here because of back rank, but I don't have time to play this h3 move because black can actually take. So after rook takes d5, rook takes d5, I found a really nice sequence here. I think this is one of my best moves to date. This is a really strong move. After rook takes d5, knight takes d5. What did I play here? Let's find a move for me here, because this was a really good move. F5 suggested. Knight takes c5 suggested. I don't believe knight takes c5 works anymore. And the reason is, after h3, I can actually unpin now. And the reason is, this queen is protected here, and I don't have that rook in front, who was bullying the queen. So I actually have the opportunity to unpin with knight f6. So knight takes c5 is no longer working for white. So the correct move here, and it's incredibly strong, it's a really good move, f5. I was really proud of this move. f5 is a nasty, nasty little move. And Baby Tiger, congratulations on finding it. It's a really good move. And the point is, so my opponent took, which is actually a losing blunder. Taking this pawn loses. My point is, your king is just so weak after you take. Remember, in earlier variations, I was trying to get at this g6 pawn. And here I've done it. I've finally gotten rid of this g6 pawn. In fact, there is only one move that allows black to even stay in the game. The only move for black to remotely try to live is knight c7. Which is ridiculous to find. We're both in time trouble. It's move 37. Like, this is an insane move. I mean, my opponent played sensibly. My opponent said, okay, you're going to offer me a pawn, I'm going to take it. But it's losing. It's really, really losing. So let's follow through here. What was my idea? What do I play here? There are a couple. We did not get more time on move 40. We had 90 minutes with a 30-second increment for the whole game. So 37 moves in, we've both spent a lot of our time. We're probably both around 5 minutes or so. And we're only getting 30 seconds of moves, so we have to move quickly. Queen g5 check is correct. That was the whole point. I'm opening up his king. Obviously, you can't block. I'll take it. So there's two main variations. I mean, there's three variations, but this is a quick one. What happens if king h7? Queen h6. They're taking my knight, Iago. Wouldn't be good. King h7 is the quick one. It's a quick fork. Knight f8. Boom. So that's the quick one. Let's go to the game continuation, because the game continuation is the second, I think, the medium continuation. My opponent played king f7. What's my continuation here? How do I continue after king f7? This is, I say, the medium continuation. It's a little trickier. Very good. Queen g7 check. Ouch. If you step back, that's mate. So you must step forward. But that's not pleasant. And it's not mate, but I'm going to be up a rook. You must block with the knight. Your king can't move. And after check, I'm picking up this piece. And this is simply winning. And this was the game continuation. We played 4 more moves and then my opponent resigned. Let's go back. I think this is the hardest continuation. What happens on king h8? So I've heard knight f8 and queen h6. The idea behind knight f8, it appears to me, is to give this fork. We've also gained some time on the queen. So that's an interesting idea. Maybe winning. I want to go queen e8, trying to threaten the back rank. But you just go knight g6 check. Knight f8 check might be a very strong move. I do have an idea, though. On knight f8 check, let me try queen a4. I mean, really annoying here. Queen a4. Yeah, Music Dan, I agree with you. All of a sudden, I'm not certain about White's position. It looks a little bit unclear. Just a little bit. It might be winning, but it's very complex. My main point is, after check, I think you're actually in some trouble here. I have some threats. So this is unclear. However, probably still okay for White. Black's king is just so weak. Yeah, I was looking after knight g6, queen h5. Your point is you're actually going to come in here. But I think I just go here. And if you check me, I'll take this. I'm unsure of this. I'm unsure. But the queen has come back. So if nothing else, I don't even have this because of this. But you can take now. No? Because you've guarded this? Fair point. So maybe after knight g6 check, I don't want to go king h7. I don't want to step on to that. Okay, this looks winning. Let's see, knight f8. This is not the continuation I had in mind, but might be winning. Knight f8, +3, it's winning. Good move, whoever suggested that. The continuation I was looking at here after king h8 is to go queen h6. The point is that's mate, so don't do that. And here we're going to do a little switcheroo, bring the queen around, and now you can do some bothersome things. Oh god, what was my line? I don't even remember. I never remember my lines, guys. I don't know why. Can't remember a thing. Was it knight g5? Yeah, knight g5 looks interesting. After knight g5, like check, blocks. I don't know what's going on. I don't remember. I don't remember anything. I feel like I blended this position away. Yeah, I already have. What was my line after queen h6? Check. Oh, queen takes f5. Oh, it's right in front of me. I'm an idiot. I literally have it in the study. Guys, I don't know what I'm doing. Well, after queen takes f5, it's not just a pawn. Because now, the issue is this pawn was holding down the 5th rank. So now this is disastrous. Because now you can't take this piece. My rook will swing over and murder you. So eliminating the f5 pawn is more than just a pawn. It's the defender of the 5th rank. And after this, black is lost. Really, really complex stuff. I don't blame my opponent for taking on f5. He's a strong player, but funny decisions happen in time trouble. When you're low on time, you sort of go, okay, he gave me material, I'll take it, and I'll figure out the consequences later. And that happens. And this was a really interesting game. A lot of mistakes from both sides. I missed some tactics. I mean, we both like double blundered a couple tactics, where like we both agreed that a couple tactics didn't exist when they did. So we both missed the same things. I missed a tactic that was pressuring his rook on e5. And then he missed all this stuff that happened after gf5. So not a clean game by any means, but a very complex game. And I wasn't like proud of this game for how I navigated it, because I did miss a lot of stuff. But I was proud of this one move, f5. Just having the intuition that tearing open the king would have been the correct play. I didn't even have everything totally calculated, I'll be honest. I didn't see all the lines to the end. But my intuition told me that opening up the black king was the right idea. And sometimes intuition can be stronger than calculation, especially when you're low on time. I had 5 minutes left. I didn't calculate everything. I just felt that the black king was going to be a big target if he took. This makes me want to play chess? Good! Go play chess! Seriously, playing chess is awesome. I'm glad. That's like the highest compliment you could give me. I'm glad it makes me want to play chess. That's amazing. Guys, those were the 3 games I had to show you. I did 3 of my most exciting games from tournament play against 3 very strong opponents. And I think I gave you guys a fair shake. I showed you games where I wasn't like stomping everyone, because that's not a fair portrayal of how chess works. You don't stomp everyone in games. Sometimes you lose. Sometimes you make mistakes. And I think I at least shared with you games where I made mistakes, because that's only fair. And I opened the Windows Store by accident. That was great. So if anyone has any questions in the chat, I showed 3 games, so if you have any questions from any of the 3 games, please let me know. So I'll be sitting around for 2 more minutes taking questions. And then I'll head on out because it's 9 o'clock and I'm late. Yeah, missed tactics are really important to look over in your games. And that's something you should do with your own games. If you... First, you should analyze by yourself, but then you should check it over with an engine and see what opportunities were missed. How much is my rating FIDE? So my FIDE rating is quite underrated, and that's, I think, typical of players in the United States, because it's hard to... everyone in the United States is underrated FIDE, which means it's hard to gain FIDE when you're playing against other people who are underrated FIDE. I think my FIDE is currently like 1730 or something, but I think if I were to like play in Europe and play FIDE frequently, I would probably achieve a rating of around 1950 or 2000, because my national ranking is 2050, which means yeah, my US rating, my USCF is 2050, which means I think I would be 1950 FIDE. It's usually about plus 100. USCF is the US national rating. Each federation generally has their own rating system. It's confusing. I don't know why they do that, but they do. Yes, I can. That is the link to the study as Kyle Kuber requested. Really, the federations existed first. I didn't know that. Dropping some knowledge to music, Dan. I was not aware. That makes sense. Good to know. All right, thank you all for the fun stream. I really enjoy sharing my games with you. Hopefully I'll be able to share. Oh, it's private. Let me fix that. I fixed it. Try again. I changed it to public. I changed it to public on stream, as a matter of fact. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys another time. I am going to try and get 2 more streams in this week. It might not happen. I'm quite busy this week. I started a new... I teach math. So I started a new math class in the mornings, so I have a lot less time. But I will at least get 1 show in on the weekends. I can't play, I'm sorry. I've been online for 3 hours. I gotta go like prepare for tomorrow and stuff. I appreciate the offer, Active Guard, but I cannot. I have work that I must prepare for. Anyway, thank you all very much. And if you're looking out for streams, I post them in the Light Chess 4545 Slack. If you're interested in the Light Chess League, here's the website for the league. And if you join the Slack there, I will be posting streams hopefully ahead of time there. And I also post them on Twitter. So if you subscribe to the Chess League TV Twitter, you'll be able to get advanced notice on streams. I'm trying to be better about letting people know about streams ahead of time because I've been historically bad at that. So I'm trying to do better. So if you're on Slack, if you're on Twitter, hopefully you know about streams ahead of time. I didn't post this one ahead of time because I didn't know I was doing it before today. And that's why y'all didn't know about it. But I didn't know about it. It was a surprise for everyone. Anyway, I'm going to head off. Thank you all so much. And hope to see you either Friday or this weekend or sometime. We'll figure it out. Have a good one, guys.